So one of the things that I want to do with this car is, as much as we all love noisy, crazy, you know, old muscle cars that have so much noise and so much grr and growl, anyways, I don't want that. And this car is just, it's way too loud. So I'm going to, non-scientifically of course, do some tests. And basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be throwing some mufflers on the car tonight to try and quiet this down. And the reason I want to do this for is because I can't hear anything that's going on underneath the hood of this car because it is so physically loud that I can't hear nothing. And you can see right now, I have a dB meter, and if I stop talking for a few seconds, and I'll show you, you can see how quiet it is in here. So you can see by my phone that I'm registering around 32 decibels of noise in my shop. And the only thing I got going on in the background right now is a ceiling fan on the other side, and that's just to help keep some of the air movement. Because as you can see, it's about 30 degrees in my shop today. It's warm. So what my plans are is I picked up a couple of mufflers. These ones here, these Walker 17615. They're 2.5 inch OD. No, correction, 2.5 inch ID. Because the exhaust on my car is 2.5 inch OD. And I've kind of shown this to you guys before, but basically, it's kind of hard to see, but the exhaust basically runs right along the outer side here and then dumps all but near the back tire. And what my plan is I'm basically, you can see like the muffler here. And basically what my plan is I'm going to cut the exhaust off somewhere in here, and then this just slips on. And I'm going to do that for both sides. And what I'm going to do real quick here, I'm not sure if it'll start right away. I may have to put the charger on it because it's been sitting for a while. What I'm going to do is I'll get the car running. And once the car's running, then I'll show you how loud it is in here with the car running. And then what I'll do is I'll put the mufflers on, and then I'll come back and show you guys again just how loud it is. So going to be just a couple minutes here. Get the car running. Once I have it running, I'll show you guys what the sound meter is in here, and once I've done that, I'll bring you guys back. So you can see that this thing is almost 80 decibels. Now, while that's not necessarily too loud, and obviously I'm inside my shop, and it's going to make things sound a lot louder than what it actually is. I mean, 80 decibels is still considerably fairly loud, considering where it dumps and where the driver's seat is and everything like that. So what I'm wanting to do is hopefully quiet that down considerably. So I'm going to cut off one of the pipes, going to throw the muffler on it, and once I've done that, then I'll come back and I'll show you the noise difference with just installing one muffler on this system. So unfortunately, due to the shape of this muffler, the body dips down a lot right in here and it hits, and I can't get it to sit any way which is going to be good. So unfortunately, I do not think these are going to work. Because if you look, this one is offset to this side, but this one is dead center. And while I can put this one on here, you can see like less than 4 inches between the muffler and the ground, and I mean the tires aren't even sitting on this thing. So I think unfortunately these will not work, and we'll have to go back, and I'm going to have to find an alternative. So once I figure that out, we will continue this video. So I was shown the other night that that muffler that I had wasn't going to work. So I had to find a different route, and what I came up with is I picked up a couple of these guys, just the Thrush glass pack. This is the part number here, 24214 with a 2.5 ID on both ends. And so what this is going to let me do is it will fit over this pipe like the last one, but instead it'll fit up between the chassis here. It's much longer in length, so I do have to cut some more pipe off, because if I put it on right now, then the body is hitting up against this thing here, which makes it which doesn't allow the muffler to fit properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hack off this much, and then I'll be able to put this on, and then this guy on here, and then once I put that on, then I'm able to go ahead and I'll temporarily seal it with some foil tape, just get a seal, and then I'll show you guys what the car sounds like running with that installed. So because of where this is going to sit, and it's going to be so close to the body, what I figured I would do is I just took some little bits of foam. I know it's exhaust, it's hot, it's probably melt and get all gross, but I figured by putting something like this on here, if it's going to rest against the body and wants to be banging around up there, it'll give it something to bang on, but it'll be quiet and not as noticeable. All right, so this should just be able to slide on. Take with our 2x4 and just slide this on. Looks like we'll probably have to put some of that tape down here because it bangs back and forth there. And it looks like it's banging somewhere in here too, so we'll put a couple of pieces on there just to make it not be so obnoxious. And then down here on this joint, that's where I'm just going to temporarily put some foil tape just to make a temporary seal. And then when I have a chance, I can go and buy a proper clamp. It'll be interesting when, as I'm looking at this, to see how much ground clearance I'm going to have when I put this thing on the ground, with how So unfortunately it's still a fairly thick body, but I got a lot more ground clearance between here. I don't know how much ground clearance I'm actually going to have when I start driving this because of how low it hangs, but this part here has never, or it looks like it's never rubbed on the ground, so I would assume that there's enough height, so I'm not too overly concerned. I just got to make sure that that back part doesn't rub. So you can see 30-ish decibels there if I'm not speaking. And now we'll start the car. So you can see that looking at that, you can see that it's now more like floating around 73 to, 82, 83 decibels in there. So, I mean, it has made, a considerable difference in sound. So now I got to do the other side and get that one on there. But I'm going to finish cleaning up the side on the driver first. And then once I've cleaned up that, then I'll start on the other side. And once I start on that, I'll bring you guys back so you can see what's going on that. All right, round two. So same idea as before. Gonna hold the glass pack up to the exhaust pipe, figure out where I need to cut it, put it on, tape it, foam it if I need to, and then start the car and see what the audio is like and see how much of a difference having two on it is. And then we'll move forward from there. So let's get to marking. So I just made my mark right about here. Somewhere in there it needs to get buzzed off, and then our glass pack will slide over that. We'll get a trusty 2x4. This one is going to be more challenge just because of how everything is. I don't know. And we'll have to do this differently. I can't get my 2x4 in this one. It's got a little bit more pressure on it. Oops, sorry about that. Try and keep you upright next time. I'll bring you guys back when that's a little more safe. All right, after some wrestling, I got the pipe off. So now you can see it's sitting there waiting. So now I can take my new one. So one of the things that I had noticed on this side is that unfortunately this pipe is angled downwards, and I don't really have a good place to cut that is straight, because this whole piece here angles down towards the ground. So what I might have to do is I'll put the muffler on for now, and then what I may have to do is I may have to take my grinder and cut some relief in here, bend it up with the jack underneath, and then weld the seam back so it gets it pointed back up towards the car. It's gonna suck and I don't want to do that, but I don't have much choice. So for now, I'm gonna be on here nice and crooked. Although I also got to see that once I put it on, so it still has to go back much further, because up here the body stops here and it has to go back here. So I still got to take probably a good 3 or 4 inches off this side. But as you can see, there's still a lot of pipe here. So I mean, if I have to, I'll see if maybe cutting it off here and then see how it goes from there. See how it fits now. Hey! So you can see how on 2 different sides the exhaust runs completely different. And I really don't care too much about that, because this is just sort of a temporary fix so that I can make this thing at least tolerable if I need to drive or go out or do anything. So for now, I think I'll leave it like that. I'll seal it, and then I'll start and get it running again. And then you guys can see what that looks like. Be right back in a bit. All right, so both sides are now connected. Got 2 better exhaust, if that's what you want to call glass packs, on the car. You can see if I stop talking here for a second. Decibels in the shop is around 35. Car's not running, so we're just going to start the car now. So you can see there that the difference is quite substantial. This car, unfortunately, and I don't know if you can see it right now, it smokes heavily. I'm not sure from where yet or what's going on, but this is part of the reason why I'm doing this exhaust for, because it's got a bad exhaust leak somewhere or something's going on, I don't know. But you can see from that quick little shot that the car at exactly the same RPM is now downwards, 70 to 73 decibels in the shop. So it's considerably quieter, and I can actually be in the shop without wearing any earmuffs at the moment, and it makes it a little bit easier to work. And in doing that, I can also now hear there's other noises going on in the car. So now that I have the exhaust sort of semi-tolerable, I can now move on to the other things. And I know, for example, like this thing is running crazy rich. And so, being that this car is completely unknown to me, I don't know what cam is in it, I don't know what the heads are in it, I don't know anything. And really all that I know about this car is what I can see, right? And I can see that it's got some form of an aftermarket headers on it. And I know that it's got a Edelbrock Torker intake manifold on it. So, there's certain things that I can see that this car has, but I don't know much else from there, right? Like you can see that the distributor is non-adjustable. It's got you know, looks like a stock, you know, carburetor or distributor top on it. So having the car being able to run now allows me to basically take a step back with this thing, figure out why it runs the way it does, and see what's going on. And a lot of the ways that that's going to happen from moving forward is basically at this point, it's one, it's going to be checking the timing on this thing, finding top dead center, you know, checking the balancer and the TDC mark, because I also know like this thing has been, now that I've been doing little things to it, it's a little bit harder to start. I suspect the rear bowl in this thing doesn't have a float, so who knows what else. So basically, this is a situation where when you buy a vehicle like this, you're going to have to do sort of these things, and that's where I'm at now. So the exhaust is done. So for me, it's basically getting the carb set back to sort of a factory / default spot, and then from there, you know, we can move forward and pull the valve covers and see what's going on with the valve covers and check the timing and stuff like that. So for now, I'm going to leave the exhaust where it's at because I can deal with it. I mean, it's also as loud as it is at 1500 RPM, which, I mean, this thing does not need to be idling at that. You know, this thing could be idling 900 to 1000 RPM, you know, without any issues. So I'm going to leave it there for now. This is going to be a bit of a shorter video. You know, my last video was considerably longer. So I'm going to leave that here for now. If you have any questions, you know, ask. I'll do my best to give you some feedback, give you some answers, give you my thoughts. You know, if you have any concerns, let me know. But for now, I think we're going to sign off. Until the next video, thanks guys. Later.